Hello, friends. This is Giuliano here today. It's the 1st of June, 2022, and I'm here with a monthly roundup. We're going to take a look at some Bitcoin and altcoin price charts. We'll look at the monthly timeframes and get a big picture overview, even bigger than the weekly roundups. We're going to take a look at key levels and some other indicators that might be giving us an idea of what's happening here and what might be in store for us. Well, in the previous May candle, it was a move well below the 20-month moving average. But half of the candle is a wick. So the price did trade below the previous lows from 2021, but it closed above those lows. So nevertheless, though, this is definitely weak price action, not as weak as it could have been, but weaker than it would have been in order to show potential to turn around faster. So right now, especially when we look, for example, at the momentum indicators, I could just see, 3, 6, 9 more months. So maybe even a year. That could be the case. I don't think a year is necessary, but 3 to 6 months at least here in terms of clearing out this negative momentum. And on the RSI, I mean, it could turn around whenever, but that might just chop around and do nothing special. But MACD is showing, like 3 more months could easily be just the minimum. But we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. In terms of levels, we know previous all-time high levels. We've traded at and closed at, and then we can look at bigger price clusters here. But for now, I think we're okay just to get a sense that overall everything is relatively weak and looking for support. And once it finds support, it will look for accumulation, unless it becomes something like this right here. But that would mean probably a big capitulation at some point from somewhere, maybe off a rejection up here, or maybe just from down here, and it just further capitulates. And then at that point, it might take a number of months. Look, this is 1, 2, 3 months after, and then 4, 5, 6 months after before it really started rushing out of it. Before then, it was, yes, upward momentum, upward directionality, but it was still somewhat small and choppy movement. Even you got a decent sized candle here towards the top of the Bollinger Band, but it came back down for 2 months, came back about halfway, even more than the candle. So I think here, whenever you turn around, you're still going to have that 3 to 6, 9 months. 9 seems a lot, but it's possible. Okay, so that's BTC on the monthly, and I think we'll just quickly take a look at the weekly candles. We won't worry about this green one from this week. I think the idea here is hopefully a slowing of momentum at the lower end of the Bollinger Band. And here's the 200 moving average at about 22,000. And currently finding weekly support on a closing basis around these lows here. So we'll see what happens. Can it turn around a bit, or does it just continue further down? I think there's room for turning around towards the upside, even if it just means to get to these levels here. All right, so that's weekly. And then when we look back at the monthly on the Bollinger Band, the lower end of the Bollinger Band is about 20,000 currently, 21,000. So nearby to that 200 moving average. So, and then of course that's relating to this price action back here. So of course we know this is a potential target zone many people are looking for. But we'll see what's going to happen. Look for a turnaround. or a slowing down, as we saw in the weekly. Okay, on the monthly, it'll be interesting to see in 1 month what the candle looks like. All right, so come back for that in July. So that's BTC. Let's move over to KMD. KMD from, oh, actually, let's look at it on the Binance chart. Sorry, Binance, the Bittrex chart. And just a couple of things to note here. The last time there was a strong move up, it had broken out of a downtrending resistance, which was formed by the last time it got rejected and then moved down. So now we have this new level of resistance here, right here, and it got rejected here. So now it's interacting with that level, that descending resistance. So we'll see. It's a monthly basis. Next candle is building right now, and it is unless there's a big, well, you can't even get that big. So it looks like we're going to be breaking out of this downtrending energy here for KMD. And now KMD is also towards the lower end of the Bollinger Band. I mean, there's definitely room to drop down, but that would be in the negatives at the lower end of the Bollinger Band. So look for something to happen here, even if it just chops. Maybe that will be the beginning of an accumulation. But at the same time, lower end of the Bollinger Band, maybe we get a move to the 20-month moving average, or even towards the top of the Bollinger Band. I think watch out for a top of the Bollinger Band move at some point, unless that never happens, which I guess is also possible. That would be interesting to see that, though. I guess the Bollinger Bands would squeeze so tight to a point where eventually you would get to the top of the Bollinger Band. And also, unless it's a dead market, it would have some move to the upside and downside, even if, relatively speaking, you would have to go very, 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 very small numbers in order to see it. Okay, that's KMD. So it's just passing that line of resistance. Okay. So we are here, monthly roundup. We're going to go over to the pirate chain. If I have any thoughts on this, let me know. Here we are at a level of support. If you don't break that, you're coming down to this cluster here. So on a logarithmic scale, shows it nicely. Let's say here you have these supports here. And if you don't hold that, then you're coming down to this zone of price action. Probably you're looking here, here, anywhere in here. Okay, so we're not going to put that. That's your support there for pirate chain. In May, the price broke down heavily below the 20-month moving average. So if it gets a retest here and holds support, that's great. What will this look like? Is it going to be some sort of accumulation over time? If we take the timing of Bitcoin, we can think 3, 6 months, whatever. On a weekly, we're around that 88% retracement, and again around the previous supports. So it's been dumping pretty hard. So if you can get something around here, lower end of the Bollinger Band, still at that uptrending line that comes from back here. So let's see what happens on this chart. I mean, it's definitely in play. It could make lower low. This is definitely a fast up, fast down continuation of this downtrend. And if we play, like, because you break out and then you come back here and you're kind of, I don't even know if there is a line there, but whatever. Let's just wait for a bounce and then we can start playing that game. Okay, cool. That's Pirate Chain. And then if we look at the, oh, okay, we've got more. Yeah, we've got more on the weekly. It's got time. It needs time to go. Yeah. Give it a few months, I guess, huh? Oops. Yeah, let's see what happens. So then we move over, okay, to a new chart here. We have TRX instead of Luna. All right, for now. If you have any requests, send them in the comments. Also, okay, yeah, here. So we're going to start with ADA and go there. So on the monthly for ADA, see this breakdown of the 20-month moving average. That's where you get this intermediate price action here with this green, you know, pausing candle. Same thing above. Above, you get some supportive action. Below, you get some resistive action. And yeah, it looks like things might be starting to look to flatten, but only like we're at the lower end of this price action. So unless it really comes back up fast, I'm getting the sense that it probably like to come down lower. Yeah. Yeah, 88.6 down here. Look for something like that to happen. This is again ADA BTC. So, let's see what happens there. Good. Momentum wise, it could take some time, but it has cleared a decent number, but yeah, you definitely could take some time. Especially you came from an overbought position. Well, let's see if these kinds of levels hold on the RSI or you're going into a more bearish territory. There's ADA on the monthly. Next, we take THETA on the monthly price candles. And this proves to be distribution type of price action, and you're way above the Bollinger Band. So at this point, you're either hoping that it'll continue higher and keep pushing the Bollinger Band higher, or you recognize that it's time for breakdown. Look, even before this green one, you had big moves down. So interesting to learn from these types of price charts. Like, look here, we're all the way down here. But before that, yes, it had a pause at the 20-month moving average. 3 months, even this candle here, this third candle here, it did trade below the 20-month, but then it closed just above it. And then the next month traded above, but then boom, it was down below the next month, trading at the next support level. In which case it had its bounce and it still interacted with 20-month moving average. But at this point now it's down here. It didn't hold this area. And so yeah, here we are. I've carved out 3 more levels here within this price action. We have where it is now based on these price levels here. And then we have the lows back here. And then an intermediate level based on this price action here, which looks like intermediate between these 2 levels anyway. And the price action plays out cleanly like that. So in terms of momentum, it's coming along, but it takes more time. 3, 6, 9 months. I don't know what these ones are going to look like. If these look at all like weekly levels, well, then this could be a lot of months. But I don't know if that's what it's going to look like on the monthly. Probably not, but something. It'll be something. And it's interesting, again, we're not quite at the lower levels of their RSIs yet for some of these charts. Lower end of the Bollinger Band is just at this price action down here. So we'll see if it breaks below that or not. Whew, theta price chart. Let's learn our lessons. Okay. Next lesson is ICX from 2017, 2018. And this is a monthly time frame. So there you go. Momentum wise, these are strange. The older ones like this that have all this relatively negative momentum with these positive histograms and this negative MACD signal line activity. It's very strange, you know. But here you are, it looks accumulatory, but at the same time on a monthly, you're at the lower end of the Bollinger Band and pushing new lows, at least, trading at new lows, closing at new lows in the previous candles. And so looks like you could have more lows. Could also bounce, but it's just on a long-term time frame. Yeah, see that. These are tough charts, tough on the hands of the holders, the bags. Okay. It's interesting though to look at these, like at the momentum of these, and just to consider how much more, like, is it going to go negative into the, and then what will that look like? Is it going to be a while? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Okay. DERO against BTC. DERO had some big moves down. This is the monthly. But although it had big moves down, it's still in this sideways range. However, it is in a downtrending aspect, and we are, yes, getting some support at this 20-month, but is it going to break below? I mean, there's a good likelihood that it trades down to these levels here, it just is, and that's okay, but it takes time to play out. Now, what does this look like? At least, well, this is on the positive end, so we'll see what this ends up looking like. It's too early to tell with a lot of these readings. Yeah. If it can hold, I mean, firstly, we have to respect the 20-month moving average. If it does hold and turn around, I mean, brilliant. But also, yeah, I think there is a calling for these levels down here. Because I think once you break down below the 20-month moving average, I don't know if this level here is going to be the holding level. Maybe you bounce up to the 20-month, but it'll reject and bring you lower. I guess that's the sense. So it's either hold it or probably not. And here's an example of you didn't hold it to begin with. It did close above, but you traded below, and we've seen that already. So look for lower prices on everything possibly, but in this case, here are some thoughts and examples you could hope for. Okay. Yeah, looking down here for DERO. And if we were to retrace that, it gives us 78.86 to 88.6 in this basic zone here. So what else? I think, yeah, well, to look at the weekly, just as a reference point, we're now below the Ichimoku cloud, lower end of the Bollinger Band, so maybe a bit of support there. Interesting. Okay. Well, what will this do? Maybe it jumps up, comes back down. Interesting. Okay. Again, if you maintain instead some sort of a 38, 50% retracement, that's obviously very super solid bullish beauty. Okay, that's DERO. Yeah, weekly momentum says that there's been a lot of negative momentum already. So that's on your side. But has it fully cleared out where it needs to? I guess we'll find out. Now we go to TRAC against BTC, Origin Trail. Yeah, so Origin Trail, again, another one flirting with that 20-month moving average. It's having, you know, it's trying, but it's looks like it's getting rejected, although it did have a strong supportive wick here. But maybe that's just a sign of things to come. And here's this trend line here of energy, of price action. And I think once you break below this trend line, I think it's just a candle or two before you're down here. And then from there, you really need this supporting. Otherwise, why not make it down here? Or, you know, somewhere in between, maybe halfway above this price action. And then, yeah, so what does it look like? You know, what do these things end up looking like? If this is big here, does it need a long accumulation? This is 2023 here. This is 1 year away. This is 12 candles right here. So what's it going to look like in this time period here? But it seems like momentum wise, it's going to be on the negative end. But yeah, we're going to see what this ends up looking like. Looking for price to trade down here. That's TRAC against BTC. BNB against BTC on the monthly. Got this nice channel going. Got this nice, so this is a more of a uptrending channel, this red one. Then you've got this nice horizontal channel here. BNB just floating above the clouds. It's just lovely to see this. It went up above the Bollinger Band, a lot of distribution here, sliding into the Bollinger Band again, flirting with that 20-month moving average from above, but a lot of good strength in that sense. But look, I think this kind of, yeah, I think we want to watch something like that, because, you know, it does, uptrends require you to keep going up over a certain amount of time. Otherwise, those trends get broken. And I think that's the best idea there. Either that, or you know, you have to keep going up faster than the trend. So it requires an element of time, because time is the horizontal axis. Time is the run. Okay, so there you have it with BNB, and I guess we might come test this 20-month moving average, but then what does it look like after that? I don't know. And here we are, so high above, making this bearish MACD cross on the monthly. Wow. Wow. What does this mean for this price chart? I'm so curious. I wonder. I don't know. I don't know. But look, there are many months here in negative momentum, and it wasn't so bad. And it was, you know, likely a continuation of this negative momentum here. And then all of this was more positive momentum there. So at this point, I guess we can get some negative momentum. What does it end up looking like in this price chart? Do we test these lower levels here, 0.05? And in that case, like, why not just come down here to this chunk? Oh, wow. Now currently from there, that would be a, wow, 70% drop. So it's crypto, so why not? But wow, then you're, you know, all of these things, they eventually, they have difficulties. And the point is, though, through their lifetime, can they just continue? Just because you have a correction is not the end of the world. You can still have more uptrends, but how long does your correction last, and how deep does it go? Those are questions. And in this case, you know, you see moves like this. So could there be a move that dumps down to here, or is this, you know, on a longer term time frame? Because this is a monthly price chart. is this thing just getting started and it's just going to go higher and somehow it is going to, this is against BTC. So is it going to really keep moving up that hard against BTC? It's definitely possible. But when we look here, this looks very distributionary, doesn't it? Like, look, we have these peaks here, and pulls back, peak here and pull back. And even this correction was quite the correction and helped to form this kind of channeling energy here based on these price actions. And here it didn't even, it's not even a perfect parallel channel. And it's really tapering. It's really tapering. So let's see what happens. Can it hold and keep pushing higher? Or is it more likely to dump further down to these levels? Because it's against BTC. And it's just made a bearish cross on the MACD monthly. So what are you saying? I'm saying bearish generally. I mean, yes, it could be the super darling of darlings and just like forever be bullish on a monthly time frame, but really at this point, it could also likely come down to these levels on the monthly time frame of RSI. And as we've seen with the MACD already, it's getting a bullish, the bearish cross, getting the bearish cross. So it's inverting the bullish to the bearish. It's going to take some momentum here to turn it back around to bullish. And so that means there's going to be some drawn out negative momentum. 3 months, 6 months, looks easily like 6 months could come to this one. That's 6 candles. That's okay. This would be the same amount of time, would bring us to August 2023, if it's the same amount of time as this cluster here. If it's about half or 61% of that, then it would be around the beginning of 2023, which is January, February, around here. So that'll be interesting. That's 1-to-1 is over here, August of 2023. And that's, I mean, you can, off by one, give or take 1 month here in terms of these histograms. Okay. Yeah, anyway, that's interesting to look at on BNB. I'm glad we caught that. Bearish cross on the MACD monthly BNB. So stick around for more. We'll find out what this ends up looking like. Okay, we're going to move along to Link on the monthly. Link at the lower end of the Bollinger Band. It's already done its flirtation with 20-month. It's already broken down, though, these levels. Is this going to be a holding level where it bounces a bit, just like there was bouncing here? Is it going to do bouncing here? That would be relatively bullish for Link. Otherwise, the next step is all the way down here, right? So, but in between here, you've got like these intermediate levels here, like we've carved out, and you've got here, which the price is there. I'm looking here. And then you've also got kind of lower end here, which relates to the price action there. And there are basically zones, and the price could trade anywhere. You can get wicks down here. This price can wick down here and then start turning around. Momentum wise, it might be looking one of the more ready to turn around, but maybe it's going to take a bit more negative momentum first. And so even still, like, it could be in the negative histogram easily for 12 months, 6 months, definitely easy. So I will be surprised if it's green in 6 months to be actually. If we look at the way these things usually clear out, they don't necessarily clear out. But having said that, just because you're in the negative histogram, you might be getting relatively positive. And so that actually can be reflected as moves up in price of significance. So whatever, we'll see. But I'm guessing we get some chops down here for the chain link, and maybe we also get a move down here. But I don't think we get anything huge to the upside. It's definitely capped in these levels. Okay, for now, at least in terms of these time frames here. Okay, so that's Chainlink. Let's take a look at XRP. XRP monthly looks relatively weak. You only have this price action here to give it support, and just, I don't know. Unless you can hop back over this stuff, not that great. Not that great. Yeah, again, these like the relatively negative momentum, but it's on the positive side of things. So what does this end up looking like? It'll be interesting. I mean, it seems like it's more likely to go negative into the histograms. RSI could go either way, you know. Let's see what happens. It's against BTC, so we know that it's anybody's game, but really BTC has such the advantage over everyone, and that's fair, fine, and good, and all that stuff. All right, so Ethereum, you know, you're chopping around here, top of the Bollinger Band. This is a distribution like BNB, or is it distribution here? And we're now going to maybe even now break down below the 20-month, not now, but at some point here, next month or two. Well, I mean, you already made your bearish cross here on your MACD. So, and now you're in the negative histogram. So it's not looking super for Ethereum. I think this is your next level of concern and significance. And you're looking like this to really try and hold something there. But again, retracement wise, yeah, why not? You know, that's a 78.6. And then if it has to come back all the way down here, that's rough. But I don't know. Maybe it comes back somewhere in here. Maybe it gets to drop and stop here. Weekly and daily levels could stop it somewhere else too, higher, but after a certain amount of time, you start looking at this cloud formation that's going to be there, and that is a level of significance in terms of averages, of averages, moving averages, turning into the cloud. And so where's the price going to be at that time? Is there going to be already a takeoff? This is against BTC. You're at the top of the Bollinger Band. Are you going to be seeing the bottom of the Bollinger Band first? And then where are you going to be in relation to this cloud? And it might take a little while. Just made a bearish cross monthly time frame after a decent amount of upside. So against BTC, definitely could see 12 months for these altcoins, maybe even more. All right. Now, all right, here's XMR. XMR is also looking to break one of these downtrending resistances, but it's doing it to the upside. It's getting potential resistance by this type of price action here relating to this upper end of the Bollinger Band. Might not even really make it. It's already fighting that price level. We'll see what happens. Yeah, this one here could go a bit more positive. It's got an interesting looking MACD action. Okay. XMR looking pretty decent. Yeah, I'd have to say so. Having said that, it could also be in a small wave fashion. So yes, it's maybe more at the top and it's going to trickle down or move down or just chop around at some level here. But the Bollinger Bands are nicely narrowing, and they will continue to narrow unless the price already does something violent. You're above the 20-month moving average, so that's positive. It's really positive. And these two candles here did some good price action around that 20-month moving average and getting good looking closes. Like one was a close below the 20-month moving average, and the other one was it actually did wick below, but it maneuvered above and had the body above the closing above the 20-month moving average. So fascinating stuff. Okay, XMR, good for you, looking nice, but of course it's still lower highs, and on a closing basis a lower low, but at least it traded, it didn't trade lower, so on a trading basis it's a higher low. Decent on XMR, but watch out for the upside resistance here. All right, I am going to end this one here and come back with a part 2. We're going to cover all of these ones over here and maybe more. All right, that's it for now. Got to run. This is a monthly roundup. I'll come back with the part 2 just around the corner. All right, bye for now.